What's going on to all my movie fans out there, and welcome back to my channel, MovieFiles, a channel in which we discuss and cover and break down the latest movies and TV shows, and we even go live and have live discussions about those movies and shows. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the community. If you enjoy that type of content, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Today we are here to discuss the new Netflix vampire action comedy starring Jamie Foxx by the name of Day Shift, a film I got the chance to check out early, and the film will be available on Netflix on Friday, August 12th. Is it worth checking out? We're going to be discussing that and so much more in today's spoiler-free review. But before we get into it, if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up as well as share it. But more importantly, let's have a discussion in the comments. Were you looking forward to Day Shift? Are you a Jamie Foxx fan? Do you like vampire movies? More importantly, once you've seen Day Shift, what do you all think about it? Let's talk about the direction, the story, the vampires, the action, what didn't work for you all, and we're going to have a discussion about this a little bit later in this review. How do you all feel about this $100 million plus budget for these action movies on Netflix? Has it worked? Will it continue to work if you believe it works? And if so, what is your favorite kind of big blockbuster action film that you have seen on Netflix? Let's talk about it in the comments below. So going into Day Shift, I wouldn't say I was like over the moon excited. I didn't watch the trailer. The things that kind of gravitated me towards watching this movie, number one, I'm an action fan. Number two, it's in the summer. You know, you can sometimes find those hidden gems in the summer, especially horror. I'm a vampire fan. I like supernatural stories. And also, I like Jamie Foxx, ladies and gentlemen. I have been following him since I was a little kid, watching In Living Color, his own show, the Jamie Foxx Show, seeing him transitioning into movies, Booty Call, Players Club, Any Given Sunday, Collateral, Ray, and most recently in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm a fan of his work. What do I think about this film? Well, let's start off by talking about my positives, and I want to start off by talking about the director here making his directorial debut, J.J. Perry. Now, J.J. comes from the land of stunt work. He's an actor slash stuntman. He's worked on things like Mortal Kombat, Bloodsport. He's worked on Marvel projects. He's worked on Quentin Tarantino projects. He's a stuntman turned director, and I think of him in the same vein as Chad Kazowski. You all might recognize that name. He's the director of John Wick. He comes from the land of stuntman turned into director. I think of David Leitch, who has directed Deadpool 2, most recently Bullet Train. He's a stuntman turned into a director. I say all that to say, normally when you see those stuntmen getting behind the camera, their action has a uniqueness to it. It's very fun, it's very energetic, it's very unique, and I have to say, I thought J.J. Perry, when it came to the action in this film, he did a good job of bringing that energy, of bringing that entertainment factor, especially when you look at the opening sequence without giving too much away here. Pretty much you have Jamie Foxx playing Bud, who is a pool cleaner who's disguising this day work as he's a vampire hunter, right? He's killing vampires in the film, and from that opening sequence, very kind of Evil Dead action sequence, very bloody, very violent. I was here for it, and every action scene from the opening sequence to me was really shot well and handled pretty well for the most part. So J.J. Perry cutting his teeth, all pun intended, in this film, shooting the action. I was pretty entertained on that element. Transition to entertainment, I'm kind of biased because I already mentioned it. I'm a Jamie Foxx fan, and I thought that for the most part, Jamie Foxx, who plays Bud, who is a husband who is going through a little bit of a tough relationship with his wife, played by Meagan Good. He has a daughter he's trying to support, so you understand his motives, and I thought that Jamie Foxx, he was believable as a dad and a husband trying to get his wife back, but he was also, Jamie Foxx, he's, you know, mid-50s, but you would never know it because he can still kick a lot of ass, and I thought that he was very believable in the action sequences in this film. And again, highlighting, I thought the action was the saving grace of this movie. So Jamie Foxx, for the most part, did a good job. I really enjoyed the action in the film for the most part. Unfortunately, that's where my positives end. It pains me to say this because, again, I'm a vampire fan, I'm an action fan, I'm a Jamie Foxx fan, but my goodness, man, this I don't want to speak hyperbole, but this is probably one of the worst films that I have seen this year. It boils down to a couple different things. Number one, again, I'm just going to focus on just a couple key things. I don't want this to become a rant because at the end of the day, I don't like to let you all know that films are bad, because I have made films in the past, going to school for film and movies, and I know how much it takes to make a movie, especially, and I was on a small college level. This is $100 million. I know the directors, the writers, the actors, the crew, they weren't intending to make a bad film. And again, this is just my personal opinion, but unfortunately, the final product was pretty bad in my opinion. Let's focus on the vampires here. Fundamentally speaking, this has to be the most unmenacing, most unscary vampires I've probably seen in recent memory. The first vampire, when we open the film, again, we meet this elder of a sorts, and that was like, okay, very Evil Dead. I love the practical and the CGI and the mixture of the two. I'm like, okay, we're going to be in for again, the story might not be all that great, which, you know, I wasn't expecting an Oscar-winning script, but I'm like, hey, at least I'm going to get some fun vampire lore. It lacks that to the umpteenth degree. There's really not a lot of foundational understanding of the lore of this vampires in this film. Again, they kind of hinted towards, I mean, we've seen 1,000 vampire films. They don't like garlic. They don't like the sun. They play to those tropes, but you don't really get a grip of, they introduced, there's like 5 different like vampire types in this movie, Ubers and New Bloods, and it's a bunch of nonsense. I say that, but it's just, again, fundamentally speaking, you go to a vampire movie, you watch a vampire show to be like invested into this lore, into this mythology, and it just was very lackadaisical. And to be honest with you, it was almost like a parody in regards to how they handled these non-threatening, non-lethal vampires in the movie. So that was something, everything around the vampires from the opening, minus the opening scene onward, was just not for me. Even to the smallest minute detail, this film was rated R. There's a lot of violence in the film, a lot of action in the film, a lot of decapitations in the film. Why? And I saw this early, and I don't know if this is one of those I seen it early and the final effects weren't done. I don't think that's the case, because they gave it to me a day before the film's coming out. But they went with like the blood was black. It was like black goo. I don't like that choice. Give me blood. Give me real blood. Now, if this is Blade, PG-13, Marvel, MCU, sure, they can get away with that. But like, why did they do, like, little small things like that was baffling to me. Performance-wise, again, I wasn't expecting his Oscar-worthy performance. I thought Jamie Foxx was fine. You got Snoop Dogg, who there will be no slander of Snoop Dogg on this channel. He was Snoop Dogg, and he was fine as Big John in this film. I really enjoyed his elements in the movie. But characters like Dave Franco, who I actually like Dave Franco, I thought he was completely miscast in this role. Someone that has to kind of keep tabs on Bud, Jamie Foxx's character, and they have a bit of a friendship and a bond, but over the course of the film, he became very annoying, Dave Franco's character. Other secondary characters, like, she's not in it a lot, but Meagan Good, I like her. Celebrity crush, I'll be honest, but she was just kind of very flat in her role. And all the other secondary characters, the villain, I mentioned how I didn't like the vampire stuff. The villain in this movie and her henchmen were absolutely laughable. They were just so bad. And I looked up the young lady that played the villain in this movie. She has a great filmography. I'm sure she's a great actress, but I just think it was a case of miscasting. And there was a lot of miscasting in this movie. And it just wasn't a good movie, y'all. As the movie went on, it just became a joke. It became a parody. I'm someone that appreciates good production. The production elements, like the camera choices. Again, I know J.J. Perry's a new director, and you can kind of see that in this film. The score in this movie was very late 90s, early 90s. Like, again, I mentioned Mortal Kombat earlier. It was very kind of that type of score to the film, kind of Power Rangers score, which it didn't fit the scenes on the screen. The other vampire hunters, I will go back to a positive. Scott Adkins in this film, and I'm a big martial artist, and I love seeing him in films. He was great. He did his thing in this film, but even that set of characters, bro, like, that was just goofy. It's a goofy-ass film. Again, I wasn't expecting the best vampire movie of all time, but at least give me something that's digestible. And unfortunately to me, there's just a lot of faults that I have with this film. One being this, fundamentally speaking, the vampires were trash in this movie. I can go on and on and on, but I don't want to turn this into a rant. Before I give you all my overall thoughts and let you know, I can probably tell if I'm going to recommend this or not, but before we get into all of that, if you stuck around to this point in the video, I appreciate you. Give the video a thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe. Overall, at the end of the day, it pains me to say it, but this film was not that good. It wasn't good at all, if I'm being honest with you all. Day Shift just wasn't my film. Again, I do highlight that for the most part. The action's there. There's a couple good laughs. I enjoy Jamie Foxx and what he gave to this role. between this and Project Power, two bad films in my opinion, but I'm still going to support Jamie Foxx, and I'm going to support J.J. Perry moving forward. I hope he gets another chance to do more action, do more directing, but his first outing just wasn't for me. I'm going to give Day Shift a 1.5 out of 5. This was just not a good movie, y'all. So do I recommend it? Hell no. But listen, this is one of those films where I want you all to see it where we can talk about it and we can talk about how bad it is. Again, I'm not shaming the directors or the actors or the talent and crew. They put their best efforts in this film. It just wasn't a film that worked for me. So again, 1.5 out of 5 for me. That's just my thoughts. But hey, I want to know yours, from your pros, your cons. Did you like the action? Did you have a good time? Am I completely wrong in my opinion? Or do you believe that we are on the same page, that just isn't a good movie? And wrapping up this review, I don't know how Netflix is going to sustain this method of $100 million for this film. It did not look like a $100 million film. Gray Man, 220, Six Underground, 180. They're putting so much money into these big blockbuster films, and they're just turning out to be either okay or mediocre, or like in this case, bad. Netflix, you need to change your strategy ASAP. I'm not a fan of the strategy, and even HBO Max knows this isn't a good plan. So let me know how you all feel about that. Thank you all for watching this review. Again, just a friendly reminder before you leave to like, share, comment, subscribe. Come and join the community if you haven't already. I wish I would enjoy this film. I just didn't at the end of the day. But again, thank you. Hope you're staying safe before you all leave. Come and join the community. Check out my other reviews. Check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.